Hello, YouTube. I'm back with part 2 or whatever. Something I probably should have caught on camera, but I decided to do it off camera anyways, was this. I fixed up the face. It looks a little bit better, a little closer. I think I'm happy with accepting that as her face. Better than the weird thing I had before. You can even see a shadow of the line of where her jawline was. So some things happened between the last video and this video. My batteries went kaput. I started to record the next one, and then this thing completely fell over because I think I already talked about this. Because of the shape of my camera, this little eye thing is on like the left side of the camera. So you've got all this weight, and because of how the tripod's designed, it has this perfect roll area right here. And what happened was it fell, and I guess the batteries just decided to literally die on me, as if, they had somehow gotten broken. Ooh, I almost did it again. It sounds stupid, because it is. I have no clue. Technology really does hate me, and I hate it right back. That is one of the few things I hate in this world. I don't hate people, I hate electronics. I hate devices, and I hate toys. And I hate companies. Okay, so I fixed up Skyler Wilson. Made her face a little less weird. There was a face before that actually, that's three faces now I've messed up on. One of which I completely discarded. I'm completely done with my Hermes drawing. Those who have talked to me will know about that character. I did a drawing for his face, and no, it looked terrible. It looked like all of the other guys I drew, and so it looked terrible, and the rest of the art on the page looked terrible, so I just kind of gave up on it. I'll go back sometime and draw Hermes. Maybe I can make a video about that, drawing the male face. So I'm going to be doing some more finishing touches up on Skyler Wilson. It's big face. This is how I do concept art. Let's get an example that's an actual example. I'll do one that's just a big head, like that, and then I'll do a few off to the side of kind of talking about showing their character and different things. And even though it's not a picture book, I love having visuals. Okay, so 2 minutes in, and this is not what I planned to do with this video. I was going to be drawing her figure. So she's got a synthetic jacket. Synthetic material is what it calls it. Just basically, if you know that kind of vinyl-y, plasticky material, it feels... doesn't feel good. It feels weird. Has a very weird feely texture to it. Kind of like what you'd imagine synthetic vinyl to feel like. Just gonna kind of draw her. Some of you might be going, "Whoa, how are you doing that?" And I'll go practice. Practice makes perfect. And obviously I need more practice because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You just gotta try your best. Try your best. Practice it. Do it. Thin gray long sleeve shirt. V-neck, which would be indication of cleavage, or oh, I'm sorry, I'm a mature human being. I'm going to use certain terms. I usually don't sugarcoat things in my stories. Why should I coat them in a drawing tutorial? Let's see, do jackets? Yeah, this is bad. I'm wearing a hoodie, so I can't use my jacket as an example. Actually, no, I think they usually go off. I think jackets usually go off of the collar seam. I for one suck at drawing clothing. I suck at a lot of things. I suck at drawing faces. I suck at drawing hands. I suck at drawing the human figure, which is bad that I'm trying to do a tutorial video on how to do that. Again, the stuff I do in this video is not the be-all, end-all of how to do anything. It's just showing you how I do it and kind of giving you a tutorial for that. So, to finish off her shoulders, kind of give this indication here of a seam. This is kind of where, actually on my jacket, the seam ends kind of down on the curve. And I'm going to apply that to this jacket, even though this jacket is very particular in design. Kind of like that. And, oh, since she's a female, I had a friend one time give me advice that to give female drawings more broad shoulders. While to some extent that is true, most women I look at usually have very slender features, and if I want to make this look female, unfortunately, I'm going to have to meet the appearance of the many versus the appearance of the few. I realize now that I've given her kind of this giraffe neck, even though the giraffe neck heater's coming on in the background. Even though the giraffe neck doesn't look very natural, if you look at a person or look in the mirror, kind of pull your hair back if you have long hair, you'll notice that the average human neck is long. Not this long. This is maybe a little overkill. I'll come back and fix that later. Now I'm going to move on to what I really meant to move on to in this video, which was the human figure. So this is going to be a little hard to do. 5'9". So first I need to think of what's her. Ah, yes, there we go. Drawing right out of the book. She's going to be tarnish red rag, polish the reception desk. I think I'll do it with her view 3/4 turn to the viewpoint. Sorry, I'm talking kind of quietly. I'm thinking at the same time that I'm doing, which is not a good idea, probably. What to talk about? Just kind of my style of guidelines is probably not what will work for you if you're a first time doing these kind of things. Just remember, just basic shapes, the crosshairs for the eyes. I'm gonna do a little rough sketch indication that she's looking at something, maybe eyebrow, very basic eyebrow indication, showing that she's surprised / worried, whatever she's looking at. Sorry that you can't see the lines at this point. As they become more official lines, you'll see them better. I'm going to go in and roughly do the outline of her figure. The hardest part for drawing a female convincingly is, well, let's not sugarcoat it, getting the breasts to look, first off, natural. Second off, there. Getting them to look like they're actually there. Which is something that makes it easier to draw a man, is that, yeah, this is another piece of art I've worked on. I've drawn all of these, especially the one that I'm drawing now. Anyways, with a man, it's very easy because they don't have that much definition. But with a woman, like, you need to make it obvious. Well, there's going overboard, and then there's drawing in the breasts. Yeah, if I were a girl, this would probably not be as awkward for me, but I'm a guy, so it's not exactly something I'm used to saying out loud for an official video. Which occurred to me, I need to be paying attention to what my book says she looks like. Some maybe indication to myself that there just needs to be this it looks bad at this point. Trust me, it looks bad to me too. Maybe she's okay. So I need to roughly draw in the desk. When we first meet Skyler Wilson, she is cleaning something. So I decided to kind of grudgingly, because I hate drawing hands, I suck at them. Kind of grudgingly, I'm going to draw her doing so. Rough indications at this point. If you've noticed, the drawing lines for this we're almost nowhere near the finished product for any of these characters, and I'm sorry that this is being centered around their crotch for that angle that I showed you, but it's hard working with the space that I have, because literally right about just below the edge of the camera there is a tip of a tripod, and this thing only bends so well. Actually, the specific angle I have it at, it would bend fairly far. I should stop talking about technical issues and talk about drawing. I am sorry. This is a bad tutorial. Under her jacket. Okay. Ah, here we go. Synthetic jacket stopped just before her hips. So if her hips are right about in here, I'd say her waist is... I know I'm using myself and I'm not a girl. Rib cage stops there. Rib hips start there. Sorry, I'm murmuring to myself. Gotta make sure. So it says it stops just before the hips. So if her hip line is right, her waist line, which is the same as her hip line, in my opinion, that's how I think of a human's real separation is the tips of the tip of the bone right there is, and which is in line with your belly button, is basically where your hips are, where your waistline is. So if I were to draw her in a bikini for some reason, right there would be her belly button. So I'm just going to draw, I'm going to keep my indication line there. Her jacket would stop right about there. We go. And it would, let's see, how do jackets, I don't know cloth dynamics very well. It's funny, for a human who looks at clothing a lot, I have no clue how it actually works. Here we go. That looks... it's getting a little bit more in scale. God, 12 minutes in. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. I had serious technical difficulties, man. I was so annoyed. My laptop's majorly goofed up. I swear when that laptop goes dead finally and I have a replacement, that thing is just getting... I'm going to destroy it on camera. Oops. Bag adjusted in the background. I don't know if you heard that or not. I really hope you can hear my voice. Just for me, that's always been a bane of my YouTubing, is being able to hear my voice. Does she have too much of a, kind of a, pelvic out angle? I think maybe this needs to, curve in a little bit more. This is the problem. Drawing the female figure is very difficult, because you gotta make things look realistic. Yeah. At the same time, not so realistic that it's like, loan? What is that? Okay. Okay, so... sorry about the clicking, for those of you who can't stand that noise. Which there are. Oh, I probably shouldn't be showing my book. God grief. Sleeves rolled up. Sure thing. Stop just before red. Okay. So right about here is where the jacket line is. Here's her waistline. Here's her hips. Her hips. like I said in the last video, artists, we are crazy. We are crazy. We can seem very, very calm on the surface, but then you just, you get to know us, and then you realize, hey, this guy slash gal, guy or gal, is insane. Really, truly, deeply insane. I have yet to find an artist that is not guilty of this. Some level of this. One thing I notice when I do drawings is that the characters usually end up slightly bigger than the concepts, the rough lines that I put in, usually. Again, drawing fabric is a pain in the butt. Just gotta kind of do what kind of seems natural. That looks terrible. It looks terrible, Lone. How dare you think you're all that? How dare you think you're an artist? I can just hear you guys saying. Although, no, anyone who's gonna see this is gonna know me, is gonna probably hope that I can succeed. Just remember, when you're drawing the human figure, especially with the female figure, you just gotta keep it realistic. If you have to, even in my art style, which is kind of cartoony, if you have to juggle between having your character come out looking like a cartoon, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I'm rambling, like I said in the last video, and for that I am sorry. Not that anyone's bad at not that I'm actually a very good conversationalist when I have something to say. Drawing the human body is a challenge, to be certain. Not certain. Certain is not a word. I think there's some. How does a woman look? By the way, I am drawing all of this from imagination, really, not from memory, because this is a character based off of a book. Although I guess it is kind of from memory because it's based off of women. Suck at drawing clothes. Suck at drawing cloth. That's how that works. Yeah. Sorry that the camera. Oops. Oh, don't fall. Sorry that the camera is not centered to the drawing. Oh, my neck. Sorry about that noise. For those of you who don't like noises, random weird noises. But yeah. Sorry that the drawing was, or the camera was not centered around my drawing. This is not a tutorial video for how to do fabric, although you can, one thing I would always say is, copy, or if you, one thing that I will always say is that, with a video like this, if you want to follow along, go ahead, make it your own character, preferably. Was that even what I was going to say? I literally have no clue. I'm talking off of the top of my head for some reason, because I can't think of anything proper to say. Nothing seems appropriate for this moment to say. Let's see, what was I talking about? Certainly make sure that whatever you're drawing seems natural, it seems logical. Like, I'm redrawing this line because I realize now that with the curvature of her chest, it would look a little less, it would look a little bit more angular. More, not less. I think that actually matches, because it says she's slender even for a woman of her height and age. I think I might go with a V-neck. Yeah, I think I'll go with a V-neck, because I don't have a character yet who's wearing a V-neck. And that would actually be kind of interesting. I'm going to draw the indication of her. Hello. My mom's in here, so I'm talking to the camera. They can hear you, most likely. Please just... Because I'm doing a tutorial video, that's why. Anyways. Erasing the head. Gonna have to redraw it anyway. Let's see. Her hand is holding a rag. I'm just gonna... Describes that she has a bracelet. Kind of, you know those type of bracelets that are cloth? Those kind of... The wraps that are kind of like, kind of like if I cut off the cuff and sewed it down to my wrist, it would kind of look, you know, the bracelets that look like that? That's what it describes her as having, so I'm going to try and draw that in. Again, showing that I suck at cloth materials drawing. So, whatever you do, if you're going to copy how I draw, which I'm certainly not discouraging. The only thing I ever discourage is flat-out plagiarism. But if you need to follow how I do things to get your style right, go ahead. Go ahead, do it. I'm not gonna judge you. But whatever you do, try not to pick up my bad habits. What are my bad habits? Things like this, where I give a character too long of a neck. Just make sure that proportion is a very hard thing for me. Proportion is literally the bane of my existence. Just guidelines. Guidelines. If you're the type of person who uses guidelines religiously, then keep doing it. Don't let anyone tell you not to use guidelines. Even though I don't use as much guidelines as other people, if guidelines is what works for you, I'm going off of my belt to draw her belt. If guidelines is what works for you, then do it. Do it well. Do it to the best of your abilities. I'm gonna draw in the belt loops on her pants, because you know, characters in my book don't necessarily adhere to the style of today's world, where people for some reason don't wear belts that much. I'm one of those people who does actually wear a belt, because I actually like my my pants staying up. I'm not a big fan of baggy pants, and I'm not a big fan of seeing people's butts. So I would not want the same to happen from me to someone. Yes, I realize I just put kind of a crease line in her arm. I mean, replicating the elbow is kind of hard to do. It's hard to show on camera because I've got the camera literally right in my chest area. It's like I can put my head right over top of my drawing with my chin touching the camera. So that'll give you some indication of where everything is. Ugh, sorry, I just burped and turned my head away from the camera. Okay, so now I can get back to this. This is what I was going to talk about for my... Sorry, before my mom walked in. Just some indication of her curvature, whatever you want to call it. Well, no, at this point it's not cleavage. Cleavage is up here. It's usually what's showing. I'm going to erase that because that doesn't need to be there. This is kind of the indication of her, those things. I refuse to say it. And my friends of the opposite gender are probably going to be like, it's okay, it's okay. You know, but for me, nah, it's just, nah. There's some things that I just don't do. There's some words that I just don't say. Not like I believe some words shouldn't be said. Certainly, if someone decides to talk in a certain manner, I'm not really going to judge them unless it's overly offensive. But I myself personally do not talk about things that my brain deems awkward to say. Okay, so now on to the part that I've kind of been in denial about doing. Well, not really been in denial, I was just kind of caught up doing the other things. What we need to draw now is the hand. Hands are terrible. Terrible. Why did God give us these things? These weirdly shaped things that you can't even see because my camera's too close. I mean, first off, look at my hands are all mauled up. You can't really see because of the quality of the camera, but if you could, you would see that I get hangnails something bad, and then when they rip and tear, and then I get things like that, and scuffed up, and I have terrible skin. And I want to procreate? Are you kidding me? I'm going to give my kid bad genes. Hopefully their fashion sense is good, because otherwise they're going to wind up with bad genes. Yes, I did just go there for a joke. Okay, so hands. Hands are a pain. It seems like most of the time, when I'm drawing a hand, it either turns out one of two ways. It either comes out kind of decent, when I'm trying to draw them realistically like I am now. They either come out kind of decent, or terrible. And I have a bad feeling that these are going for the latter. Trying my best to save it, which is why I decided to draw this specific scene of her, because she is using a rag, and a rag can hide things. Yes, it can hide things. Like I said, we are crazy. Artists are crazy. We can hide things with rags. About the only time I've ever drawn a hand where it's actually turned out fairly decent was when I was drawing another character from this book who has a robotic arm. The arm looked awesome, and the hand looked awesome, because I learned how to draw from Armor, from Halo, and so I get how to do armor. I get how to do that kind of stuff. And so it's very natural for me to draw things that I usually can't draw using robotic limbs and armor. Which is why drawings like this, these two are some of the best artwork in this drawing, because, well, other than, well, technically, in this specific drawing, all of these guys turned out very good, in my opinion. But these are where I really excelled, because they're armor. And what's really nice about armor is, with this style of armor, it replicates the muscle structure. And so you've got the pecs, even though the pecs on this one, this is actually that's roughly where his rib cage stops. For Athena, it's got the covers for her breasts, to be frank. And, you know, that's just how it has to be. So, yeah. Drawing in the desk some more. 29 minutes. Where should this desk stop? Or wait, no, there needs to be like a cash register on the desk, because that comes in later in the story. Kind of a rough cash register. And the theme of this, the setting of this story is post-apocalyptic, so there's very rough. Don't even know what I was going to say there. There's very rough. Rough what? Very crude technology. Kind of using whatever they could find. Trying to remember what a cash register looks like. I'm not going to draw that. This isn't a video about drawing cash registers or drawing things. Although I kind of excel at drawing geometric shapes. Because I learned how to draw using armor. And armor is mostly geometric shapes. So now I'm going to work on drawing the face in small scale, which is an extremely hard challenge, especially for a guy like me, whose bane of their existence is consistency and proportion. Oh my god, I did it for once. I think I got ahead pretty good on the first try of redrawing it. Alright. Draw in the crosshairs. Redraw in the indications that she's worried. That looks terrible. I'm sorry. My methods are not always the best of doing things, if you've ever looked at any of my stuff. Let's see, how could I have been commentating on this so far versus how I actually have been? Just remember, with the female figure, keep it as aesthetic, is that the term? As feminine looking as possible. That's a very general term, I'm sorry. Kind of face palming after that. Just make sure nothing looks too rigid. With drawing women's chests, it's finding that ratio between modest and overzealous. Sounds like a very barbaric term. Modest and overzealous. I usually don't sexualize my drawings. I usually try to go for realistic over sex appeal. Just occurred to me, from this angle, she is behind the desk. I think? I'm just gonna say she's behind the desk, so... Yeah, I don't even have to show the cash register, actually. That's good. That'll be good for later. 30 minutes. Okay, so this thing has a really long record time, and that is good. And the battery life is good, because I had my mom get new batteries at the store. Well, I asked her, and she obliged. Like a very nice person. Trying to see. Okay, so for the face, I need to get back to drawing her face. So very slight indication of the nose. And how do I usually do a nose from the distance? I ask myself. Not very well. Because it's hard enough to draw a nose up close. As you can see, I redrew her face. I redrew her nose first off, tried to move it closer to her eyes. Whoa. Okay, almost dropped the camera. Woo, that was a near save. Great, it's slightly moving. Okay, locking down that little ball joint. Although, who designs a tripod for a heavy mechanical device using a ball joint for its pivot? That is stupid. Okay. That's a little awkward. I'm going to draw some indication of where her elbow is. Drawing clothing is really hard. If you've ever watched anyone draw clothing, it's difficult, especially for me, because I suck at drawing. I suck at drawing things that should be easy, and I somehow excel at things that should be really, really hard. I'm going to be making another video about drawing armor for a friend. He said he wanted to learn how to draw medieval armor, which is going to be an interesting challenge for me, because I learned how to draw using Halo, which means that I pretty much figured very easily how to do this kind of armor, which is technically, this is Neo-Greek armor. It's a word I invented for my book. Neo-Greek. So back to drawing the face. Back to actually drawing, not just talking. So anyways, it'll be an interesting experience to try and draw medieval armor. Sorry that my tone of voice dropped. Doing very, very precise things. Gotta be quiet. Why? I have no clue. Maybe she should be sad. Kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Or, kind of like, what are you doing back? Kind of a look on her face, kind of drawing in her scalp. Indication of where her ear would be. Well, thanks, Mark Crilly. You've got the word indication stuck in my head. Thoroughly. Just remember, don't take anything that I tell you to do in this video concrete, except practice. Practice, practice, practice. Even if you're fairly confident in how you draw things, like I am, I'm fairly confident in my ability to start a drawing like this and just jump into it without barely any guidelines. Gonna burp, excuse me. Even I sometimes make mistakes, like I did with Skyler's face. And so, really, the best thing anyone can do is practice. Practice, practice, practice. Practice. Practice makes perfect. And if that means that you have to follow what I'm doing almost line for line, I'm not going to judge you. Because I believe that practice does make perfect. It's what art teachers tell you. That's what I tell you, even though I'm not an art teacher. Because I know that that principle is actually very beneficial. It's very beneficial to practice, practice, practice. If you want to get better at drawing, practice. If you want to get better at drawing something very specific, practice, 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 practice. I realize I'm rambling in kind of a new way. I'm kind of just saying things over and over again. But it is true. The only way you can improve something is if you try. Whether you learn by copying, whether you learn by following guidelines and applying it to your own work, which is how I usually learn, whether you learn by just jumping in and doing it with rough knowledge of how to do what you're doing, practice, just practice. Which is how I like to draw. I like to, whenever I doodle on something, it's usually practicing for something that I'm not certain if we're gonna be speaking right, certain that I can draw. I just practice. On my my math teacher could probably contest to that, because on our math warm-ups, on the last one I did, it was the margin was literally full of doodles, and most of them, one of them actually was for Verona's sword, drawing what it was going to look like, or not Verona, Athena's big two-handed sword. Or it's a hand and half, actually, for those of you who are sword aficionados. But I mean, I didn't expect to meet any aficionados on my channel. Very nice of you to watch me. Thank you, sirs. Why are you watching a drawing video? Is my question for you. And to my friends watching this, thanks for your support in all of this. That really helps. And thanks for being my friends. That too, that's very important. A guy like me as much as I like friends, it can sometimes be hard to make friends. Especially at our school. And so, yeah. It's not perfect, what I have here, but it is not terrible. I am very proud of calling this Skyler Wilson. Does that meet everything that I said? Crystal blue eyes. Oops, misspelled a word. Yeah, I'm still in the editing stage of this book. Even for her height, full and short all around. So yeah, short all around except for her bangs. Like Athena's, except instead of a braid, she just has it cut down. Blue synthetic jacket, stopped just before her hips, sleeves. Under her jacket, she wore a thin gray. Her face was a ratio, gone pudgy. Her beauty, her pants were light blue denim. Yeah. Yeah. So this is drawing to get it proper, to get it lined up, zeroed in. Actually, I'm going to fix that. That is drawing the human figure. And now to refine this monstrosity. See, even artists make mistakes. I'm not gonna call myself the best artist in the world. I'm a learner. I'm a learner at everything. And I mean, until we die, we're still learning at everything. So don't ever take anything I say as the be-all, end-all when it comes to when I say principles about things like drawing. Just note that even I am learning, and even I have made improvements over how I used to do things. My faces used to come out looking very weird, very almost like I was doing caricatures, however those are called. They used to look like that because I didn't really know how to make a nose look like a actual nose, as opposed to just this overly angular thing. Drawing the armor is going to be the hardest. But I mean, that's good. That's good. Even proficient artists should practice. And one thing I would suggest for improving your drawing ability, if you're really good with your style, like the way that you draw, try other styles. If you're, try usually what I like, the concept I like is trying opposites. If you usually draw like I do, these very realistic looking people, who are unfortunately sometimes still looking a little not so human, try drawing them, or try drawing like anime. Like I did a challenge, I challenged myself to try and draw a character anime style. It didn't turn out good, but I tried, and that trying kind of taught me some things. It taught me some things about a little bit about proportion. It gave me practice making sure that things were in proportion. And over time, if I keep practicing that, I will not only learn how to draw anime style, just anime / manga, but I will in turn gain knowledge about proportion and scale. So if you draw realistic, try cartoony. If you draw cartoony, if you draw cartoon animals, or, well, now my friend's style wouldn't be cartoony, but you could call it cartoony, compared to something like this, where I'm going for more of a faux realistic approach. If you draw like that, try drawing something realistic. If you draw like me, I would suggest trying to draw something like anime. Or abstract kind of cartoonish style abstract kind of figures is kind of something I like to do. Big geometric shapes like blobby circles, bubble characters, kind of like Baymax from Big Hero 6. That's kind of a cool character. And that's actually much better of an improvement. And I'm glad that I actually did this part on camera, because I kind of said to my mom afterwards as she was making her lunch that I should have shown you guys how I redrew Skyler's face. So yeah, Skyler Wilson. So some things to keep in mind when you're drawing like this is keep your mind on what it is you're drawing. If you're drawing a woman, think about the proportions of a woman. If you're going from big drawing to a small drawing, what helps with this is that I literally have the face right next to the big right next to the small. So I can just kind of take the little indications from this and plop them onto here. I'm actually going to add in indications of eyelids, although it looks more like bags under her eyes. Sorry about that noise. And yeah, just keep in mind what you're drawing. And if you're drawing a specific character that you've already drawn, have a piece of art with them on it. Have that drawing, so that you can go off of that and actually come up with, even though I suck at consistency, you can have some level of a consistent look and appearance. This is a very basic cash register. And I'm going to do the edges of the table. Just doing these off of my mind's eye of what things should look like, what I envision for the counter, which is actually going to be a little bit longer. You know, it's not like I'm not looking at a reference art of a table. I'm just applying what I've learned in art class with what I already know, with what I envision, to create this kind of cool little oak wood table. I think it's oak. It's either oak or redwood. Which, in hindsight, oh yeah, it is oak. The oak reception desk. In hindsight, it doesn't matter what type of wood, really. But I mean, those kind of things are helpful. It's like, what kind of table did you draw? It's oak. Okay. What's she wearing? It's a synthetic jacket. How long did it take you to draw that? 48 minutes. Wow. Oh god, 48 minutes. Oh man. Those of you who stuck around this long, thank you. You are troopers. And in honor of that, I think I should probably finish her up. Which I'm actually very satisfied. The women in this book that I wanted to look attractive, at least in their proper drawings, look attractive. And this is actually the only character in my book who's actually directly based on a friend of mine. The rest are kind of these unique people. Of course, I've applied their personalities to my friends. But this one I literally made because I looked at my friend and said, you know, I need to base a character off of you. Because she was kind of jokingly nagging me about it. It's like, do you have a character based off of me? Tells puns and stuff. It's like, no. But I should, you know, I should have a character who's kind of a new face. And I needed a new character anyway. I needed this kind of character who knew other I'm sorry, I'm overusing the term character. I needed this person who knew some other people so that they could talk and connect and talk about the past and exposition and stuff. Kind of moving the plot along at the same time. And so I came up with Skyler Wilson. By the way, the name took me forever to come up with. Here was how my brain's creative process went. A few days before I came to the character, I was thinking of names, and I settled on Skyler. That's a cool girl's name that I need to give to a character. And then I got to, keyboard. Pretend there's a keyboard here on a computer that's looks like it's about to break down from how many cracks are on it. I got to here and I was like, oh, what's her name gonna be? Skyler. And it's like, it's good because the character in the book is even like that. You probably can't read that. It says, this is, he gestured to her. Well, this is Skyler Wilson. And that's kind of what it was. It was like I was searching my head thinking of names. I thought of all sorts of names. I thought... At one point, I questioned maybe giving her a name of a friend I know. And then I thought, nah, let's go with something original. And so I did. I came up with Wilson. Wilson being kind of a running gag name to me. If you look at my video, Among the Dead at Monte Casino, my good friend, Royal Zealot 101, who is my best friend IRL, my very best friend, is named Wilson, because that is kind of a go-to name my brain has for a side character. Why? I have literally no clue. That'd be like asking me why I decided to put the pockets so far down on her outfit. I have no clue. I just did. Kind of be like asking me why she has such slight cleavage. I have no clue. I don't even know if that's the proper term for all of this. I don't know what the proper term is, and I am sorry. I am not a master. I am not a person who knows the name for everything. I'm a writer, not a dictionary. I'm not a walking calculator either. I suck at math. I literally need 2 calculators. I seriously need 2 calculators in math class. A graphing calculator to do the graphing stuff, and then a normal calculator to do the calculations in between while I have all of the stuffs. But I mean, yeah, this is a fun process. Drawing is fun. It's always been a passion to me. Writing is fun. It's always been a passion to me. Coming up with these characters have always been a passion to me. And I'm actually very satisfied with how Skyler Wilson turned out. I may go back and erase some of this. Because, yeah. So that is... so that I can be finalized now. So... get that out of the way. Yes, I'm still using the same I'm still using the exact same camera with which I started my YouTube career. Even though I don't have it as a career. Damn it, I really should. I should become a YouTube partner so that I can get paid, but I feel like I need to make a new channel and start releasing more original content, because my early videos were kind of things that would technically get me strikes if I were to make revenue off of it. So yeah, that's Skyler Wilson, and that's Skyler Wilson. That's actually one of the best little drawings I've put out in a while. I'm actually very satisfied with how all of this has turned out. This has been a real kind of a confidence booster for me. So kind of getting a close-up of the face, the eyes. You can't see the beautiful light flares in her eyes. You can see kind of this, that kind of looks like a woman You know, notably over the face of, like, say, Odysseus or Orion. Well, Orion's kind of borderline. Again, all of these look much better in real life, a lot less pixely. And there's kind of Verona, or Skyler. You can tell that that's a woman that's actually looking pretty decent through the camera. It's looking pretty good. The hand looks terrible. I think I might actually put a few more lines on the rag. Just real quick, dashing them in. Kind of more of these wrinkles. And with cloth, it's all about wrinkles. It's all about making things look folded. Folded over, folded in on themselves sometimes. There's the cash register. Like how I literally flipped it around with ease. So yeah, that's Skyler Wilson. You can stop nagging me about it now, my good friend. I got it now. It's drawn. It's done. Now on to drawing armor. That's gonna be fun. I think I may do that either tomorrow or the day after, whenever I next officially have some free time. Alright. This has been part 2 of drawing the woman figure / face. Lone Jedi 100, signing